Welcome. We are a little tiny bit early. Just to let you know, this is a briefing to discuss how EuRA's executive group works and the next elections, which are going to come up in March. So we only sent this invitation out to full voting members of EuRA, which is actually a relatively small group, considering normally we have about 3,000 people on our mail list. This only went out to just over 300. So we only have 35 people signed up for today, which is excellent. I would envisage probably we'll have less than that coming in, which is quite rare for our webinars. But the other great thing is this is being recorded, so we'll be sending the link to this recording out with the election information, which will be going out as I'll start to discuss in a minute. So I'm going to first of all introduce you to our brilliant panel. Actually, I'm going to let you introduce yourselves. If you can just give us your name and your company and where you're based, that would be great. Simon, I will start with you. Simon.
Hi, everyone. I'm Simon, obviously, and I'm from TTH Curzon and in the UK, and I'm the current president of EuRA.
Thank you very much, Simon. Ivona, how are you? Good to see you.
Yeah, hello everyone. I'm Ivona. I'm from ProRelocation. I'm based in Slovakia, in Bratislava, and I joined the executive group in June last year.
Wonderful. Thank you, Ivona. Johanna, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. So my name is Johanna Lennartsson. I work for an Immersion, and I'm very specifically in the Old Town in Stockholm, Sweden. And I'm the current vice president of EuRA, and I've been on the board now for 3 years almost.
Thank you very much indeed. Great to have you here. And Donna, how are you? Oh, I'm sorry, you're on mute.
Exactly. Sorry. Yes, hello everyone. I'm Dana Pik. I'm from EuRA Relocation, Czech Republic. So obviously I'm in Prague, and I joined as well with Ivona in June.
Wonderful. And Tad.
Hi, I'm Tad. I'm the CEO of EuRA, and I'm just down the corridor from Dominic.
You are indeed. Yeah. And I'm Don Tidy. I'm the COO. So yeah, we're just going to quickly run through, for the benefit of people who may be considering standing for the executive group, how all of this works. And so firstly, I'm going to pass over to you, Tad, with some sort of finer details, but not too fine, of what's involved.
Yes, so this is going to take hours. No, it's not. Basically, the executive group meets 3 times a year in 3 different places in Europe, often places we're considering for conferences, so we never tell you where we're going. We're always going to Brussels. We also have, in between times, monthly huddles, which last about an hour, and are generally in the morning on the first, which Tuesday or Wednesday, Dom?
First Wednesday of the month.
First Wednesday of the month. The most important responsibilities of members of the group are obviously to steer EuRA and to support us here in the office. You're also required as an executive group member to attend the AGM at the conference, assuming you are at the conference. You don't have to come to the conference, but it obviously would be nice. And you're also, we like executive group members to undertake the EuRA Global Quality Seal certification because we feel that's important. And basically, what you need to remember is that if you are standing for election, it is you that is standing for election. You are not standing on behalf of your company, and that the whole point of the executive group is its ability to work as a team seamlessly. There, of course, EuRA pays certain expenses in relation to attending meetings. We pay travel, provide accommodation, but of course there are ceilings on that. It's not, travel first class halfway around the world type of job. The other thing that the executive group do is deal with any disciplinary issues. It's not generally the whole group that does it, but we select 1 or 2 people to deal with any complaints we receive, which, to be fair, are few and far between, which is great. Now, in terms of this election, we're having this briefing today. We're opening nominations on the 2nd of March. In order to be eligible, you must be a full member operating from a country in Europe where there's no worldwide spaces on the board on this occasion. However, there are 5 countries that cannot put their names forward because we already have executive group members in those countries, and they are Slovakia, the Czech Republic, the United Kingdom, Sweden, and France. If you're from anywhere else, you can put your name forward.
All of that information and data, you don't need to take a note of it now. It will all be sent out to you on the second.
Yeah. Okay, so you will have 2 weeks to consider and submit your nomination to the 16th of March. When you put in your nomination, it must be supported by 2 other full members from anywhere in Europe or indeed in the world, because all members, all relocation company members worldwide are full members. So you can be supported by someone from the US. It doesn't have to be necessarily the UK, but it can be anywhere. And then once we have received the nominations, and you must also complete the willingness to serve document, which asks you to declare any directorships or positions that might compromise you as a EuRA board member. In other words, if you happen to also be a board member of WRC or FIDI or something like that, we need to know that. Other than that, we then put out a sort of newsletter or a brief. We put out an election bulletin with all the candidates' names on it, and then we carry out an election. I think the election is the 27th of March, something like that.
The election from the 18th of March to the 27th of March.
All right. And once the election is completed, then obviously there's a winner. If there's only one candidate, that candidate is the winner. But we're hoping we'll get a bit of interest in this. So that really is it. The first meeting anybody will be expected to attend will be in a country I can't tell you in early June. Dom, over to you.
Thank you, Dad. So yes, just a couple of very brief things about the election process as well. It is only open to full members, as Tad said. We do have to monitor the ballots that come in because through no fault of anybody, occasionally we'll get double entries from a company because the person voting wasn't sure that they were the person who was actually entitled to vote. It's quite a thing, and this is all covered by EuRA's constitution and articles of association. So, Simon, I know you and I've talked a lot before about processes. We do have to follow a specific process. So that's how that works. So I'm just going to come to my brilliant executive group members. Of course, I do say that because they are brilliant, but of course I have to say that as well. Because we do work very, very closely together, which has been great over the years. So Simon, I'm going to come to you first, if that's okay. Can you, I know you've been on the board a while. Do you remember, what was it that made you think, yeah, okay, I'll do this? Because you're going to give up a lot of time.
I think it comes from actually a willingness to give back to the industry and the environment that we work in. It's about, for me, it's about giving back and helping and moving the EuRA community and the EuRA family forward. And so, I mean, I was a chair of the ARP, and that was great because I was doing that from a UK perspective, and now doing on a sort of a more international base. It's extremely important to me that I think members have the opportunity to make a contribution, wherever that is, large or small, and be able to give back to the industry that has served them well. Now, as you say, I am the longest serving member on the executive board currently. I thoroughly enjoyed my time. I've seen several different constructions of the board, shall we say. Different people have come, different people have gone. All of them have one thing in mind, which is for the betterment of EuRA. They come with enthusiasm. They come to help and support the great team behind EuRA and everything that goes on there. And at the heart, it is, I think, giving back, making a difference, offering an opinion, constructive, but knowing that it's, don't come with a clipboard, come with an open mind, come to make a contribution, whether large or small. But we don't want shrinking violets, but there again, we don't want foghorns either. We want those people who are prepared to sit, listen, and make contributions.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Simon. It's no, it is. It's very interesting to see why and how this works. And I mean, compared to other industry associations who we work closely with through the Coalition for Associations in Global Mobility, I think one of the things that we've always held as very important is, as you said, Simon, that we don't run relocation businesses. You do. That's why it's so important that the executive group, you have your finger on the pulse of what's going on in their industry. Johanna, again, you joined 3 years ago. Again, was your what did you want to achieve? Why did you join?
Well, very similar to what Simon just said. I attended my first EuRA conference in 2009. And I've always, since from the start, I've always loved those conferences. What you get to learn during the sessions, all the connections you make, all the members that are so friendly and create that family feeling that just makes you feel very welcome and at home. And so then when I had opportunity 3 years ago to stand for the election, I did so because I wanted to, as Simon said, to give back and contribute. And I think all of us are in a service industry where we want to give to people and want to take care of people. And I think that's what I wanted to do, just make a good thing for all the members onwards. Yeah, that was the reason, I guess.
Thank you. I'm going to come, Dana, if I can, to you next. I think, again, as one of our 2 newest executive group members, I mean, same question. What made you do it? And also, I'll come on to that in a minute.
I think it's very similar to the reason of Simon and Johanna. This is where you feel that you can give back because the conference and EuRA generally gave me so much. Basically, in other companies during the conferences inspired me, and I felt actually empowered to be able to give back, but also like really learn so much. I mean, I joined just lately, I will say, in June. That's not a long time, but I learned enormous amount of things, and the ability to shape the industry, to contribute to the industry, to listen to the industry, and then convert it into actions, and really feel that you can change things for the better, for for as a collaboration of different opinions, and we do have a lot of opinions on the table. So it's great, and to have it's basically a kind of mastermind on the table. So it's not just the board members, but also Dom, you and Tad, with all your enormous years. I mean, we study a lot from you. I'm studying a lot from you, and from Brioni, who brings a very high level of professionality. So it's so fascinating to be part of this. So I think I have an enormous amount of growth professionally just being part of the board, if I'm talking about myself.
Thank you so much, and those are very, very kind words. But yeah, Ivona, was that similar for you again as one of our 2?
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to add too much actually to what was already said, but I've been the member of EuRA since 2004, so I'm in industry for a very long time, and I think there comes a moment in your career where you want to do just a little bit more than sitting at your own desk running your own company. And I believe there's this feeling of also responsibility of trying to give back. This is a great opportunity to do that. I believe joining the EuRA executive board, it really happens on the highest level, at least from my perspective. I don't know what else is there, and yes, as Dana said, this is like a mastermind group, but with possibility to impact things, contribute, and change also what's happening in our industry. And I think it's very important to do that. So you should come really, really with open mind, open heart, and willingness to not just serve, but really to contribute.
Thank you, Ivona.
Yeah,
I mean, it's really interesting hearing what you've all got to say. I'm just going to put something out there. I mean, you're all from different business models in different locations. operating, in very different ways. But one thing that's always struck me is how there's always such a big common ground within the industry. Simon, is that sort of something you've noticed while you've been on the group?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're all delivering well, customer service. We're all delivering the similar services, and we're all dealing, whether that's a home search or whether that's dealing the settling in or orientation. Ultimately, it's the same service. We may just go about it slightly differently how we deliver it. But I think that's reflected in terms of the board, as Dana said. I mean, we are very much individuals working together. We all have our opinions, and we agree, we disagree, but when we come together, it's about collective governorship, it's collectiveness. So whatever goes on within our board meetings stays within our board meetings. That's very important to me. We have robust discussions, and we come to a conclusion, or we make decisions. Now, these decisions aren't affecting. They're mostly around the conference, or mostly around different changes into some rules. But we look at them from our own perspectives. How does that fit within the UK? How does that fit within Europe? So there's a lot to consider, and I think we achieve a great deal in the 2 days that we are fundamentally together 3 times a year. Plus, obviously, we're at the conference. So it's very important to be businesslike. It's very important that we stick to genders, we stick to the scope, because otherwise it's very easy to be distracted. And for me, that's important, that we give up our time, and time is precious to all of us running businesses and things. So that time has to be productive. And I'm so pleased that the boards I've been on, it has been very, very productive. We have made, good decisions and we've used the time wisely. And I think that's very important for us. For me, it's about being productive and using that time, which is.
Thanks, Simon. I totally agree. And it's interesting how over the years the board has matured, but that's a whole other conversation which we can have for a very, for hours and hours. I mean, Johanna, again, we have, really open discussions, within the board. And I think what's always interesting for me is to hear the diversity of opinion. Is that something that was did you expect that?
Honestly, I didn't know what to expect, but no, I don't think that, I didn't know from the beginning if everyone really felt comfortable, being open with exactly what I felt and what I wanted to say, but everyone absolutely do, which I think is great. And yes, we do disagree, but I think also that's what makes us move forward and makes that to come to a conclusion in the end, and often the best solution or conclusion, of course. And yes, even though we don't disagree, everyone, as Simon said, once we are voted, we are moving forward, everyone is in line with that, and everyone after the meeting goes to dinner and have a laugh. We're all friends anyway, even if we don't disagree, right? But I feel it's great, but it's because there is a lot of respect within the group as well, that they do have different opinions, which I think also, makes it such an open discussion, that everyone can say exactly how they feel and what they think, which is great.
Brilliant, thank you. And Ivona, I'm just going to ask you, as somebody who's come into the group new, and I'm going to ask you more or less the same thing. I mean, obviously, you knew some of the people who were on the executive group, you knew of some of the people, some people you didn't know at all. I mean, what was that first experience when you come into a group and you think to yourself, well, you all know each other and you've all been working together for ages. Was it okay?
Oh yeah, it's very scary, I have to tell you. No, but actually you are very well prepared, because it's very professional, it's very well structured, and Simon and Johanna and Tad and Dom, actually, you've been very helpful, because you made sure we know also technically what's going to happen. Also, we had to catch up with Simon, so thank you so much. And, I expect anybody else who would be joining would receive the same welcome from the president. That's very helpful. And what was said actually happened. We are professionals, but this was a new role to me. So I think honestly, it was very smooth. And as Johanna said, it's very constructive, very professional. There are different opinions around the table, and we don't have to vote too often. It's the president who has the final say, but this is very important. We always come to a conclusion. That's super important. There's a lot of respect. So anyways.
Thank you, Ivona. Dana, again, as somebody who came in recently, was the joining this group, as you say, you knew some people, you didn't know other people. Again, was it okay?
Yeah, it was more than okay. I think there is something, it's kind of like a hand to a glove that fits, kind of, because it's really very welcoming environment. I think the fact that we, in fact, meeting the day before, the evening before, allows to kind of relax, because we didn't go directly to the first meeting. We had a very nice evening at the balcony, in Malta. Now we can say that. So it was very relaxing. We got, it was shared by the other members, and you, Dom and Tad, you were there as well. I mean, at one point you left, but we continued the evening. We went for dinner together, and then you have the morning, you have the breakfast. So you kind of like smoothly going into it. And I think the evening that we spent together, and the breakfast and the walk in the morning, who is joining needs to know that it's not obligatory, but it's a great way to start and also connect. The early morning works. So I think it's very welcoming, and it's really, everyone are very nice, and yeah, it's good. I had a good experience.
Well, I'm really pleased that you did, and it's such an interesting dynamic, for Tad and I to see over the years and years that new people come into the group, and it is extremely friendly. But I think that's just indicative of our industry generally.
Correct.
I think the atmosphere at the conference is different to any other conference I go to throughout the year. It is a very sociable industry, and we do try quite hard. I mean, again, just to direct this to Simon and Johanna, I mean, you've made long-lasting friendships with people, other people who've been on the group, right?
Absolutely. I mean, I was a very similar position when I joined the board back in the day, so to speak. I knew some of the people. I didn't know all of the people, but they've remained friends, and the ones left and people have joined are friends as well. And there's great opportunities to connect and to be part of the whole EuRA family. So as we say, so yeah, absolutely, it's good. People come to you, people ask you questions, people want to seek your advice on certain matters, and as a board, we're always very keen to offer up, provide some help and assistance wherever we can, point people in the right direction. I think it's really good from a newcomer's perspective, particularly if the executive group are known and seen at various different events, because it allows them to connect as well, and people reach out. So yeah, I mean, great connections I've established, which has been good for both personal and business.
Good. I'm glad to hear it. I was going to ask you that, actually. So, Johanna, I'll bring that to you. I mean, you give an awful lot of time, and it's a big commitment, and you're traveling and, doing all sorts of things. And particularly, Johanna, it depends on where you're traveling from, but a lot of EG members will end up taking quite a few connecting flights to get from one place to another. Johanna, is it worth it?
That's usually me taking a connection flight and a 6 a.m. flight from Stockholm.
Yeah.
It's so that really depends on where you're located, if you have a smooth flight or not. Yes, I think it's definitely worth it. It has given me so much, not only, as Simon said, like friends within the board, because we do spend a lot of time together. 3 weeks per year, as you said, Dom, and it's working groups, and it's dinners, and it's morning walks, and it's such that has been great, and has given me so much. But also other connections that you make, that Simon also mentioned, that you get close to other EuRA members, because you do speak about certain topics, or people come with suggestions, or you monitor panels for the EuRA board. Then you also get to know people more than you would have before. So Yes, so definitely more connections and closer relationships than before. And not only people asking where we're going next year, but that happens a lot as well.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you, very interesting stuff. I mean, and Dana and Ivona, I'm just going to ask you guys, what advice would you give to somebody who's thinking, oh, I might go for it? Ivona, I'll ask you first.
Maybe just consider whether you have the time availability, because it's a commitment. It is time you will have to dedicate, carve it out of your time with your family or from your business. And maybe advice is what I did is actually I called before actually running to a couple of people I knew from the board to ask about their opinion, whether, this is a good idea. That's what I personally did. And I found it very, very helpful just to understand the time and all of these requirements. So maybe that's my advice.
Dana.
I think the same as Yvonne. I don't think it's so much time needed, I mean, during the year, but it is required eventually 3 times beside the conference of traveling, which you expected to arrive the day before. So it's 2 days, very intensive days. So it's day before, and then you are expected to stay the second night. So I mean, of the meeting, so you can leave the day after. So it's basically can be 4 days at the end, 3.5 days. It's not that bad. If you have small kids, maybe that's something that it's not something you want to do. So I think during the year is not so much, at least the 6 months or so that we are doing it, a little bit more than 6 months. But yeah, I think that's it. It's Simon gave me very good guidance last year. I think thank you, Simon, for that. Very focused on being ready to listen and not come and put a flag and say, I'm going to change from today everything because all my agenda is going to start today. That I should first listen to understand the environment, the integration of the group, and then learn the group. And then nothing happens in one day. I mean, even if I have agenda and I want to implement something, just to do things in a pleasant manner, consider everyone else's opinion in the group and so on. I mean, some things might be obvious, but it's always good to hear it. And I really appreciate that's also what Ivona mentioned before, that Simon gave us a brief before the meeting. That was super, super valuable, I think.
Thank you very much, Anna. It's
Tom,
yes, Ted.
before we come to an end, one thing occurred to me in all this. People joining the board don't necessarily appreciate the fact at the very beginning that EuRA is a not-for-profit organization. But by the time they have finished their term on the board, they've got it. That doesn't mean to say that we don't make profits, but that's not our ultimate goal. And sometimes people have come in and said, no, we need to do this and we need to do that. And no, this is all about being a membership organization and doing stuff that benefits the members. So making money is not necessarily top priority.
We've always had a test and that we've referred to over the years, which goes back to one of our very first members of EuRA in the core of the first tranche of members. We called it the Madalena test after Madalena Mikhaili. If what we were implementing, using the profit to implement projects that were going to benefit the members, if it wasn't going to help those core members, should we go forward with it? And I think that's something that you've all been very, very conscious of as a group. So thank you very much for that. So look, we'll bring this to an end. It's been fascinating talking to you. Well, it's always brilliant talking to you because I talk to you 3 times a year over board meetings anyway, and huddles. And just to say again, those board meetings that are arranged, all of the details of all of the procedural stuff that goes with going on the EG, you will receive on the 2nd of March. But just to let you know, we try our very hardest to organise the dates of board meetings a year in advance, so that it gives you plenty of time as an EG member to either check that that's going to work or come back and say that isn't going to work. I've just realized there's something going on that's really important for one of my kids or my partner or my business, and then we can work on it, that far in advance. So we try our very best to make sure that there's there's enough flexibility built in. Simon, Ivona, Johanna, Dana, thank you so much. It's great to have you on the EG. If anybody listening to this, either live or in the recording, has a question, please don't hesitate to reach out to any of these fine people, or to myself or to Tad. You can find our contact details are all on the EuRA website on the Meet the Team page, and you can scroll through and find everybody's details. But in the meantime, thank you very much, everybody. If you're thinking about standing and you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. I hope that you do stand. It's been really, one thing I was going to say very, very quickly, for Tad and I and Bridie and the team, it's always very difficult when people leave the board and new people come in. It's wonderful to welcome new people in, Ivona and Dana. It's been great getting to know you over the year. It's always so sad saying goodbye to somebody you've worked with for 6 years, you know, but that's how it goes. So thank you very much, everybody. We will catch up soon. Thanks, everybody, for attending. Thank you, Benjamin. Thank you, Jonas. Take care.
And good
Cheers,
luck,
everyone.
everyone.
Good luck,
Bye.
everybody.
Good luck.
Bye.
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 Bye.